everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Matthew and Sarah. How are you doing, my love?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
How are you?
I am doing well myself. I'm a little bit tired, but that's okay. We'll be going to sleep here pretty soon, but wanted to record an episode. And I guess we could talk about the good news, how you made a decision, right? Because yesterday we were discussing kind of your options with employment and not really being sure about what decision to make, but you've made a decision. And what decision was that, babe?
I'm staying in Texas, or we're staying in Texas.
We're staying in Texas. We're gonna stay at the Big D.
Big D.
So I was happy with whatever decision you wanted to make. Of course, you know that I'll support whatever you decide, but I do think that it is a better decision at this point. It was definitely the more financially sound decision, because going to Alabama and everything that entailed, and then plus moving to a remote area, which of course you know is the dream of my life, but the options to rent are so low. And then it would be a matter of buying, and you know, we're not really ready to buy yet, and buying a home is a big deal. I've told you, I can't tell you how many times people have wanted me to buy a home throughout the years. I understand all the pros, I understand all that, but for me personally, I just didn't see myself as a single person having a home. It's just way too much burden for me. And so the thought that we were going to potentially buy something so quickly so that you can start in February, it's just a big burden. One thing is uncertainty, which I told you guys yesterday I can deal with pretty well. But another thing is like the things that we know, and those things putting us at a disadvantage was whatever it was. But if you would have decided Alabama, that's where we would have gone and we would have made it. But my love, I guess I just want to ask you, what made you decide to stay in Dallas?
Well, there was a couple of decisions, but one, I really like this job, and even though I do work from home 2 days a week, they wouldn't let me. I asked them if I could work from home every day, so we could move back. So that would be one less thing, and they were going to try to work with me, but it just wasn't going to be feasible for either the company or myself. And then, so then I just decided, I was like, it's just too much. It'd be too much pressure to try to get back to home this quickly. And so I was like, you know, we got a good thing going here, got a good job, you got a good job, we got a good place, got a good church. We're doing good here, so why mess it up?
Yeah, and I told you today I was so excited because I went with my mom to a different primary care doctor, and it was such a great experience. Because, guys, not sure if you know, but me having had my mom with me for the last 5-6 years, I've had a whole lot of experience with a lot of different doctors. And let me tell you, it is not easy to find a good doctor that really cares. And the thing about it, I don't want to disparage all of them. I'm sure that all of them care. I mean, going through medical school and all that is not an easy process. But it's like you have to have a really good system, right? You have to have a really good support system, a good computer system. I mean, this place here, they're just so buttoned up with like their computerized system, me being able to check in electronically, getting there, not spending a lot of time waiting because of paperwork. And it just seems like a lot of the typical burden that maybe other doctors have, this doctor wasn't experiencing because she has a really great team. So I say all that to say that it was exciting to finally find that here in Dallas. And of course I would have done whatever needed to be done to find the same type of high quality care in Alabama. But I'm not going to lie, and I'm going to tell you that there is a bit of a relief there, knowing that we're going to stay. Now, the objective is to move to Georgia. And maybe we can name this episode Georgia on My Mind or something. Yeah. We do want to move to Georgia. We just want to make sure that the timing is right. I have student loans that I have a little bit of a balance, but it's still something that needs to be paid off, and it's a priority to get that paid off and, you know, start making some really good decisions with our money. And I guess I'm typically not the one to ask you guys questions, but hey, let me ask the podcast land a question. for those of you that are out of debt, or maybe you're in what some would classify good debt, right? Student loans is definitely not a good debt,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're either out of debt or have quote unquote good debt, and you have made other decisions with your money in terms of what to invest in or what to look at, I would love to hear your feedback, or see your feedback in the comments of where would be a good place to start putting money as it comes in. So yeah, just really relieved that we've reached this point, and grateful that you feel peace with it, because that was a big thing. I mean, wanting to be close to family is pretty powerful. Although I'll tell you, you know this about my story, and of course my family knows this about my story. So my family, the majority of them are located in New Jersey, New York area, Jersey City, Union City, Patterson. Shout out to all those places, Queens, Long Island, and I left that area, so I can understand the desire to want to move closer to family, although that doesn't necessarily apply to me, because I just don't like the area enough to be there. Um, and my family and friends know that about me. But I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing that you want to be closer to your family. I want to be closer to your family, which is soon going to become my family. And so, yeah, we'll do it when the time is right.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right this time. I mean, it just wasn't going together. The only good thing about moving would be to live closer to the family, which that is a good thing. But the job's a variable that I didn't know about. Just kind of wasn't excited about that job like I am this one. To finding the place to live. I mean, there were so many options that we were going to have to do, and in a very quick amount of time. Just too many unknowns. It's not like, just moving yourself or even moving me and you, but we have your mother, we have the two dogs, we have all of our stuff here. What are we going to do when we get there? Rent, Airbnb, there's just too many questions for right now. Yeah, it's just too many questions right now for the move, and it wasn't really that much of a, like I said, the pay was comparable, so the only benefit would be to be closer to family, which is a good thing, but it ain't everything. So we got a good thing going here, so we'll stay here.
Yeah, and I got to tell you guys, so Matthew and I have talked about this in a million different ways, and I mean this with all due respect to the love of my life, but he could not have come up with like something that I thought was like the worst idea in the history of ideas, when he was like, well, maybe another possibility is me accepting the Alabama job and me going over there, staying with my parents for a bit, and then you flying out from time to time. And I'm like, what? That would like royally suck. I hate everything about that idea.
That was where we were at, though, because there's no rental places. There was no place that is like, so that's the only option, because they would be wanting me out there in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't pack all of this up. We'd have to break the lease here. Of course, they were going to pay for that, but then go. It's just too much. It's just too much, too soon, too quick.
Yeah.
But I think like here, where there's thousands of places to rent, it's there's few and far between.
Yeah, and we're still not married yet, so, still building the foundation. I think that's a positive aspect of it as well, is going back to Georgia as Mr. and Mrs. Nave.
That'd be nice.
That would be amazing. I did want to give my cousin a shout out. I'm not going to say his name because, that's probably not appropriate. But my cousin, he just calls me when he listens to these podcasts and just gives me his feedback. And it's always amazing and wonderful. And I think another thing I kind of want to touch on now that we've talked about the decision that was made was having like the hard conversations in the beginning, because my cousin mentioned something that is a sensitive topic, but I'm so happy that you and I were able to talk about it really on our first date, which is the topic of fertility. I mentioned to you guys yesterday that I would love nothing more than to have children. I would love nothing more than to have quadruplets. I know people think I'm crazy for that, and I haven't changed my mind. And you know what? God is so faithful that it might just happen. And if it does, we'll praise the Lord. However, I do understand that I'm 41. And that was something that Matthew and I spoke about from the very beginning. It's like, hey, I want children, but I am old. And so it's possible that it's not going to happen. And then also aligning on the fact that I don't want to go through any other procedure, IVF or anything like that. I guess I don't want kids bad enough to go through that process. And so having that conversation, I have to tell you, my love, I'm really grateful to God for how he has built out our relationship, because when you think about, we met in August, you proposed 3 weeks later. Here we are, it's January. Look at everything that's happened. You moving, you helping me move, then you moving in, then us going to Georgia, you getting laid off. I'm still continuing with my mother's care and her doctor's appointments, the dog getting surgery, like so much.
And the new job.
Yeah, the new job. So much has happened that it's really given us an opportunity to, I guess, go through some things that maybe others haven't had an opportunity to go through so quickly.
We've had 5 years worth of relationship in 6 months.
Yeah. And also the church.
Yeah, we found a church.
Yeah, going to church.
Tried churches out, found one that we liked, started going there. I mean, there's been a lot happening.
There's been a whole lot happening. So not sure how we're going to merge the topics here. But hey, you guys know us. We just turn on the record button and start talking. That is what we do.
Still not proud of that.
Yeah, Matthew is still struggling with...
I can't do that. I'm not as good as you.
Well, you're doing great right now, baby.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, okay? So then, did you think would you agree that it was important to have those type of tough conversations from the beginning?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We did.
And why do you think it's important?
This ain't an interview.
Well, I mean, why not? Why not? Why is?
I don't know.
Oh, you're okay.
I've shut
okay.
down.
You're shutting down.
I've shut down.
All right. Well, guys, I think we can kind of end it here. But definitely any feedback you have on anything. And like I mentioned, that question about where are you really looking at putting your money, and what are the types of things that you're looking at? That would be incredibly helpful to us.
Yeah, because we've been reading the Dave Ramsey book. That's helped us.
Yeah, the Dave Ramsey book has been incredibly helpful. I don't follow the steps perfectly, but he's definitely, I mean, I've been following him for years, and he's a lot of the reason why I've gotten so ahead with everything. I'm just such a step ahead I'm in a better place than I ever was, and I'm so grateful for that. So I think we did a good job at merging the whole big decision, staying in Dallas. I kind of injected the whole having important conversations from the beginning, talking about the roller coaster that we've been on and how that's solidified our relationship one day at a time. So yeah, I think it's been a good episode. And since Matthew doesn't seem to want to talk about anything else,
we're tired.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys. Really appreciate y'all.
Y'all have a good night. Bye.